Ladies and gentlemen, crypto gaming has had a metric ton of resilience since the last crypto gaming bull market to now, with many projects shipping products and Gala games specifically becoming a little bit more than just Gala games. I actually sat down with the president of blockchain at Gala Games, Jason Brink, earlier today, and today I'm going to be breaking this down in 10 minutes or less so you don't go ahead and have to spend 45 minutes doing it. And I'm going to be doing my takeaways, my opinions, all things included. So big shout out to you, Jason, and let's get right into it. So the first thing I asked him was, where do you see crypto gaming today versus in the 2021 bull run? He said, very simply put, that he thinks that the crypto gaming space has matured a lot. Back then we had these little Ponzi games. Now we have actual games. So good on us for that one. Second question was, is Gala going to be joining Neo Tokyo? Because there's been a lot of projects joining Neo Tokyo lately. And, when they join it, there's a bit of a pump that ends up happening. He said he has a Neo Tokyo. Okay, here's the thing. Gala has a Neo Tokyo, but they don't publicize it. Well, I guess he just did publicize it, Jason. So we'll see when we get that announcement out there about Neo Tokyos. He also says the fact that, like Elio Trades loves the fact that people are building on this, etc. Some people in the community are like Roy Boys, which, it's Gala, Roy Boys, right? But overall, we've got to move past that and keep building, which is the big vision for Gala. I asked him next, which sector of crypto gaming are people sleeping on? He went ahead and started pinpointing to the fact that a lot of different blockchains out there are boasting the fact that they've got a lot of transactions per second. But guess what? Just because you got a lot of transactions per second don't mean anything. And I'm not targeting Solana here. In fact, I love Solana. I own a lot of Solana. But I'm just targeting the fact that some of these people that say that there's 1 million transactions per second, a lot of it just is empty transactions. When it requires business logic, that's going to be a big problem. And a big reason that people end up doing crypto gaming as a first thing in a company is because gaming is probably the most high throughput action thing out there. I mean, every little thing in gaming can be considered a transaction. If I go ahead and pick up my phone in a game, that could technically be considered a transaction. So there's so many different transactions that can happen, which is why Gala targeted games first. The next thing is about roadmaps, because Jason did a little bit of a teaser. He said that Gala's roadmap for Gala Chain is going to be coming out by the end of the year. And yeah, that means next month, Gala Chain's roadmap should be out. This is for me, that was pretty crazy because I didn't expect him to say the word roadmap. Gala has had a bad track record with the whole word roadmap overall. We all know how people push things and how sometimes you might have a little bit of a vision that goes a little bit too extreme and et cetera, et cetera. But he said roadmap. And if you're telling me a roadmap is a roadmap, and a roadmap is a big, big piece of alpha that I am not going to be missing out on. That's a big deal. So next thing was in regards to something that recently happened. This is from Crypto Stash's channel. Crypto Gaming Expert ranks the best altcoins. You see, the Walking Dead Empires is on the wrecked tier on this specific tier list. He went ahead and said, of course, first off, The Walking Dead Empires is not a finished game. Sure, it has a persistent playtest, but by no means is it anywhere near being complete. It's not even remotely live. So it's not going to be an S-tier game. That's perfectly fine. The way Bitbender is thinking about these games is that they're just games, right? It's, you got crypto on it, and then you've just got a game. You want to focus on the game part. I 100% respect it. He said it was C tier. I checked it, and it looks like it's in the rec tier. So, I don't know if I agree with that, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. And talking about that, apparently we might have the Walking Dead Empires on for an AMA at some point. So that's going to be pretty cool. The next thing was actually a really big shocker for a lot of people. This is the fact that Gala is thinking about making a token on the Walking Dead Empire. So that Deadcoin, I didn't know if it was going to be a currency or not. I do think it's going to be a currency. This upset a lot of people. I asked Jason, Gala in the past has gone ahead and asked time and time again, on whether or not they're going to be doing tokens or not. They said that they weren't going to be doing tokens, and then they were going to be doing tokens. They've been kind of all over the place. In January, remember, they were going to say that Gala is going to be used on every single Gala game, which is technically true because, you've got Gala tokens and gas fees, etc. because of Gala Chain. But people thought there weren't going to be any more tokens that were released. That's not the case. I believe they're making a Deadcoin. I do think that they're going to be making more tokens. They talked about the fact that you can't really manipulate a layer 1 coin. They think of Gala as a layer 1 coin now. They're not thinking of it as just a crypto gaming coin. So to be able to manipulate the supply and the throughput of the minting and burning, all that kind of stuff, doesn't really make any sense on a layer 1 coin. They'd rather go ahead and do that on some of those channels on Hyperledger Fabric, which is what Gala Chain is using, and then go ahead and use these little subchannels to have their own little tokens so that each game can cater to specifically the needs that they have, which I think is fair. I don't think that's like a crazy opinion to have. It would just be nice to like pick a side. You either do it or you don't do it. So I'm guessing they're finally picking the side of doing it. So that's great for Gala to be able to do. Next thing is in regards to transactions per second on Gala Chain. I asked him how many resources would it take to actually do 1 million transactions per second. He says, I don't really know, like I can't think of it off the top of my head. But in terms of transactions per second on Gala Chain, they've got this very interesting thing where, technically speaking, the chain isn't constantly going. It only goes when it needs to go, which I find it fascinating because as far as I can recall, pretty much every chain out there is always of the mindset that we're going to release this chain. It's just going to keep going over and over. We're going to have these little validators and they're going to be rewarded based off every block that comes in. Fair enough, right? In Gala's side, they're releasing their chain and then it goes as fast as it needs to go, doesn't need to go faster. I find that to be really fascinating. Technically speaking, it goes unlimited transactions per second. A lot of people were questioning when you went to the Gala Chain website and it said infinite transactions per second. Technically speaking, that is true. It can go infinite transactions per second, and it can use business logic because it's built on Hyperledger Fabric. He talked about the fact that most EVM chains, Ethereum, right, they use Solidity. Solidity is terrible with business logic. Doesn't do it very well. So some of those more complicated actions in games are going to be a tall task for people that are using Solidity versus Hyperledger Fabric. He says the reason that you really haven't heard about Hyperledger Fabric is because the people that built out Hyperledger Fabric do not care about marketing. Most businesses are already using it, so them marketing it doesn't really make any sense. They're not gearing it for the public. They just have it for businesses that want to go ahead and build out there. So it seems like Gala's changed a lot of their marketing from the whole, we're a crypto game, we're going to do some awesome stuff. And now it's more like we are a layer 1 project that is doing a heck of a lot of things. And we are ready. We're ready to go ahead and do this, which is pretty fascinating. And talking about that, Gala's doing a competition. They're actually giving away for people that are interested on building an Explorer for Gala because the one that exists right now looks awful. Gala's making their own, but for people that are interested, if you want to build your own Gala Explorer with the Gala API keys, well, you are free to go ahead and do that. They are rewarding people with, I believe it's a founder's node or 1 million Gala. I might be wrong in the exact details, but it's a lot. It's a lot for people that go ahead and end up taking the charge. The next one is Gala Chain secure? Now, my opinion on this one is a little bit conflicted in terms of security on chains. He says that, well, yeah, it's secure. Obviously, you've got a bunch of different validators. I asked him about the Ronin hack that happened back in Axie Infinity. Notorious, the Lazarus Group, $600 million hacked from Axie Infinity's Ronin network. Very unfortunate situation. God bless everybody in between. I think we pretty much were made whole. But overall, when that happened, it sparked a lot of alarms for all the other chains out there. There's been plenty of exploits. How is Gala tackling this? Well, he went ahead and started talking about the fact that they are believing in burning bridges. And no, not burning bridges in terms of connections, but burning bridges in terms of if you're going from Ethereum to Gala Chain, there is no middleman. It's literally just burn tokens from this side, make tokens from this side. So you don't have to worry about any of the exploits that could possibly happen on a bridge, because there is no real intermediary wallet that is making these transactions happen. There's nothing there. It's just you the entire way through. I found that to be really fascinating. In terms of the security of a chain, if you have validator nodes, that's a big role that the founders nodes are going to be playing. you don't really need to worry about that stuff, but I can understand why people would ask a question like that. The next question was, why would you want a chain to be slow? He talked a lot about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, of course, the biggest cryptocurrency out there. It's used for settlement layers. Obviously now, I kind of mentioned the whole ordinals thing, and he doesn't even want to talk about ordinals, which fair enough. But, Bitcoin's done its thing. It's used primarily as something that's like, okay, I give this to you, and that's it. So, if there's a blockchain out there that, wants to go ahead and come to Gala chain, they could do their own little channel, and there you go. You got your little Bitcoin thing going on. So, fair enough, I guess. I mean, I'd want my blockchain to be as fast as it needs to be, and that's all they really care about. The next question was, why is it more expensive to bridge on Gala? Because it is expensive to bridge on Gala. It costs like, what, $56 right now? It's ridiculous. He says that Ethereum gas fees are expensive, very expensive. He kind of got a little bit iffy at some point. And he had to answer Slack, so we couldn't get a full response on this one, but it's pretty much just gas fees. I think they have to find a better way to do this at some point. I'm not really sure what it is, but Gala Ethereum to Gala chain is just, it's terrible. Maybe they need to like partner with some centralized exchange to give an option to make it cheaper to exchange between like USDT, Ethereum, and then turning that into the Gala chain one. I don't know what they need to do, but they need to figure that out. And the next one is founders nodes, because a lot of people have been warning about founders nodes and when they're going to begin validating transactions on the bridge. He said, wait for the roadmap. So next month, that's your answer. And the last question was, how do I get into contact with Gala to work with you? He said, contact him on Twitter at BitbenderBrink. I'll actually go ahead and pull this up for anybody interested in doing that. There you go. There's the app. And that's pretty much going to wrap up this video. It's a little bit longer than I expected it to be, but I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next time, stay classy. And that's all.